Go to goal. How can we use restarts to encourage variability? The session today is primarily a finishing session. It's one of those alive movement problems. We have our 3 attackers in yellow, we have our goalkeeper who starts with the ball, and our 2 defenders. Our 3 attackers obviously are going towards the big goal, and our 3 defenders, 2 defenders and goalkeeper, are going towards these 2 small goals if they win possession. Play starts with the goalkeeper who makes a pass to this player here. This player must make a one-touch pass to this player. Upon that one-touch pass being made, play is live. So the setup here is with the defender close enough so that this player's one-touch pass is going to encourage them to have to recover to defend. And it should be a setup so that this player can't have a completely free run on goal, but can have a couple of options. First, they have this player here who, while being man-marked, has this space here in which they can move, possibly dragging their defender. But if this player were to make a one-touch pass into this space, and it's a good enough pass and there's enough gap here between, this player might be able to take it to line, cut back, and finish. In addition, if this player makes this one-touch pass, this player comes down and this player has committed themselves such that that cross cannot be made here, they could make a cutback to this player who can finish. Or if you have a player who feels like they might be able to take on that 1v1, if they have the 1v1, they cut back and finish. But each of these different potential outcomes, is dictated upon, this first one-touch pass by this player. The success of that pass, or not necessarily I would say the success of that pass, but the kind of pass that is made is going to dictate what next happens. Is it going to be convenient for the cross? Is it going to be convenient for a cutback? Or is it going to be convenient for even that 1v1? Now, after a few reps of going through this, defenders kind of rotating, attackers rotating positions, I'm going to use restarts to change the problem a little bit, to encourage some variability, to add in some different ways that players are going to have to navigate similar problems. So the first change I might make is with the starting positions of those 1v1, of that 1v1 situation here. So rather than have them start on the far post, I'm going to have them start on the near post. That is going to challenge this player to make a one-touch pass to whom? If that ball comes in, if they make a one-touch pass right across here, these 2 defenders are now going to be in a slightly different scenario than they were before. All the space is now going to be over here. How are these players going to react? How are they going to maneuver themselves to find that space that has now been vacated because of the starting position? Similarly, the one-touch pass doesn't necessarily have to go to this player. Ball comes in and the one-touch pass is to here. What differences might we see with the movements of these players once that pass is made? The purpose of the restart is to change the scenario to give different opportunities for action for each of these 3 attackers and subsequently for the defenders. Instead of changing the starting positions of the defenders, the other change I might make is rather than the goalkeeper start with the ball, I might actually have this player start and have them make that pass, upon which we might see a slightly easier setup of what we had initially that might encourage a particular outcome a little more effectively. But I might also maybe even start with this player here who has to make this one-touch pass, making it a very different scenario. Now, of course, that player can't stop that first pass, but with the ball coming in here, it's going to be a very, very different movement solution and on how the player receives and makes the one-touch pass to this player, or possibly, again, not having to make the one-touch pass to that player. Maybe they play the ball back into space for this player to either finish or third man run. But using restarts in our game slices can really change the variability of the situation so that we can encourage players to explore movement solutions that are going to be effective for them and that will work together as a unit and as a team. So go to goal, how can we use restarts to encourage variability?